What's going on, guys? And today we're talking about some NBA trade deadline news. 3 headlines for you today about the deadline. Jerami Grant, Paul Millsap, and De'Aaron Fox are the 3 gentlemen we'll be talking about today. I'd love to hear your thoughts down below on either of those 3 guys or anybody else that I missed in the trade deadline rumor mill. Let's get right into it. Also, guys, should I start a Substack? I'm thinking about starting to write on a Substack about the NBA. Maybe. I don't know. Like and subscribe. 3 videos a day. Let's get right into it. So, Vice Chairman Arjen Tellem said he would be open to an immediate Jerami Grant trade, even though there have been descriptions about the organization being split about whether to keep or trade Jerami Grant. I have been told that Atlanta is not actively pursuing Jerami Grant, even though he would be a very good fit. Now, you have to look at all the teams that are trying to get Jerami Grant. There's the Los Angeles Lakers, who, they've offered a combination of Taylor Horton-Tucker, Kendrick Nunn, and a first-round pick, and, the Pistons were like, nah. And, there could be a team maybe like the New York Knicks or the Trailblazers, but the problem with a guy like Jerami Grant is that you're going to have to... Jerami Grant has said he wants to continue to be traded to a team where he can have an offensive role similar to what he has now, which means he wants to be a 20-point scorer. He believes he should be scoring 20 points a night, and he doesn't want to take a step back from that. And, does that make him hard to trade? A little bit, because now you got to think, like, who's going to want to trade for that? And I definitely think it's interesting. Now, with that being said, I think Jerami Grant will not be traded this cycle. If there was more noise, I think he'd be traded, but it just seems like the organization is very split on whether or not to keep him. So that's definitely something I want to do and see. So I think Jerami Grant will be staying around. Now, De'Aaron Fox. There has been some rival executives that have said that De'Aaron Fox remains gettable. They just lost to Boston and Atlanta, the Kings, by combining the scores of over 70 points this past week. And I think the Kings are thinking, look, we're not going to build around De'Aaron Fox. I don't think they see De'Aaron Fox as a franchise cornerstone to win games. De'Aaron Fox is a guy that you'd like him to be the second guy, not the first guy. And I think that's the problem. That's what the Kings are like. They're thinking, they're like, look, we have De'Aaron Fox, who's awesome, but he's more of a second franchise cornerstone instead of a first. And that's what I think is similarly how Karl-Anthony Towns is. Karl-Anthony Towns is the second franchise cornerstone. The real franchise cornerstone is Anthony Edwards. And that's what I think the Kings think about Fox, is like he's not actually their franchise cornerstone that they'd want. So I think they want to go and look somewhere else for a franchise cornerstone that they could, that they think will be more beneficial to their team. So that's where I think this is all going. Where do you guys think that's going to go? I definitely think De'Aaron Fox stays this season, but don't be surprised by the end of the year if De'Aaron Fox definitely does get traded. I think De'Aaron Fox being traded could potentially be something that we see, even though it's something that they might not want to do. It's definitely something that could happen because there could be a deal with a lot of draft pick compensation for a team that already has everything except a point guard. And they're like, look, De'Aaron Fox is the point guard we need. And you definitely could see a team do that. There's a lot of teams that could feel like that. The Boston Celtics could be like, look, maybe we trade everybody except Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown for De'Aaron Fox, okay? And because they believe De'Aaron Fox, Jason Tatum, and Jaylen Brown will be the trio that they need to succeed in the future. That could very well be a thing, but hey, either way. So, look, there has been some rumors but the Nets have pledged to find Paul Millsap a new home, and they have granted the former All-Star forward, who turns 37 on the trade deadline day, to leave the team as they scour the market for a suitable trade. Swapping Millsap for a perimeter shooting is among the Nets' goal, which means they would like to get a guy like Terrence Ross. Obviously, financially they can't, but you got to look across, if you can look around, there could be some guys that they could trade for. I know David Nwaba is on a deal, but he doesn't give him perimeter shooting, he gives him defense. So Mike Muscala, look for Mike Muscala to be a guy that they could potentially trade for. I would not be surprised if they do go out there and look for Mike Muscala. Okay? So I want to hear your guys' thoughts. What do you guys think so far of this. I think it's definitely been really fun. Ooh, some of the best current plays. All right, guys, that's basically it for me. I hope you guys do have a great day, because I know I will. Till next time, guys. Peace out.